Hello everyone. In this very special session, I am going to talk about importance, relevance, significance of governance, constitution and polity as a module in overall scheme of civil service examination. Friends, polity, constitution, governance as a module is very important in the overall scheme of civil service exam. The importance of it is not only limited to preliminary or main, but this module is equally important for essay paper, interview, that is personality test, and post selection. It will help you grow and develop yourself as an extraordinary civil servant. How it's important in the overall scheme of exam is what we are going to discuss today in this session, and then we will be talking about what is mentioned within the syllabus which you have to cover from prelims and main exam point of view. What should be your approach when you are studying this very interesting and highly dynamic module within GS, and what are the standard reference materials or books which you must read while you are preparing. So these are the things which we will talk in this session. So coming back, that this module is popular in this name, governance, constitution and polity. And this module is important in prelims exam, very important in main exam. It has importance even in the essay paper of GS. It plays an important role in personality test as well. How? That I will explain. And post selection, it helps you develop yourself as an extraordinary civil servant. It has role there as well. Now, when it comes to prelim exam, I would just like you all to remember that every year in the paper 1, on an average you can expect 15 questions from polity, constitution, governance. And these questions are factual, conceptual and analytical in nature. Meaning, some of the questions in the prelims paper 1 from polity, constitution, governance, you can solve simply if you have factual information with you. But some other questions you can only solve if you have conceptual clarity in different topics of polity, constitution and governance. Whereas there are some questions which you can solve only when you have acquired analytical skills during the preparation and you are good at analysis and drawing inferences. So what I am interested in telling you, that every year they are going to ask 15 questions on an average. Some year they have asked, some years they have asked even 20 questions, and there are few years when they have asked only 10-12 questions. But on an average 15 questions in the prelim exam. And if you look into the syllabus prescribed by UPSC for GS paper of prelim, explicit mention is of some topic which broadly falls within the ambit of polity, constitution and governance. The syllabus says question will be from constitution, then the question will be from rights related issues, question will be from public policy, question can be from Panchayati Raj, they may ask questions in prelims from political system. These are not my words. These words are explicitly mentioned within the syllabus prescribed by UPSC for prelims. Now the word explicitly mentioned is constitution, but they will ask you question from fundamental rights, directive principles of state policy, preamble of Indian constitution, constitutional provisions related with parliament, constitutional provisions related with state legislature, constitutional provisions related with union executive, constitutional provisions related with the state executive, constitutional provisions related with elections and so on and so forth. Okay. So, very explicit mention in the syllabus is constitution, public policy, political system, right related issues, and only when you will look into previous year question paper of prelims for GS, then you can further develop understanding that what all you need to prepare. But while you are preparing, you should move in a very sequential manner. That I will tell you only when I will be telling you that what is mentioned within the syllabus for main exam. So, prelims 15 questions. In the main exam, in the GS paper 2, they are going to ask questions from polity, constitution, governance, social justice. Okay. And in this paper is of 250 marks. You know, each paper of GS is having the weightage of 250 marks. So, out of 250 marks, approximately 170 marks worth question in paper 2 of GS, which is paper 3 in the overall scheme of main examination, is what you can expect from governance, constitution and polity. Okay. Governance, constitution and polity. And these question in terms of numbers, it will be 12 to 15 questions. It can be, right, 12 to 15 questions. And I hope you all are aware that most of the questions are to be answered in 200 words, but some questions can be there for which you may have to write an answer not exceeding 250 words, and some questions in which you may have to write an answer where the word limit is 150. Okay. So, most of the questions you will have to answer where your answer, in your answer, the words number should not exceed 200, but there can be some question which you have to answer in 250 words, and there can be some questions in which you may have to write 150 words answer. Okay. But 12 to 15 questions, and this is how this module is so important in the overall scheme of exam. If you just make an attempt to go deeper into what is prescribed within the syllabus for main examination, I would just like you all to remember that there is a mention of this word Indian Constitution. Indian Constitution, and this Indian Constitution you have to study from different perspective. One is historical underpinning, historical underpinning. Another important is evolution, evolution. Indian Constitution you have to study from features perspective. Indian Constitution you have to study from amendments. Again, these are not my words, these finds exclusive mention within the syllabus prescribed by UPSC. It also talks about significant provisions, it also talks about basic structure, okay. So Indian constitution you have to study from historical underpinning perspective, how it evolved, what are the important features of Indian constitution, how Indian constitution can be amended, which are the key amendments, how the provision within the constitution to amend the constitution has made Indian constitution a progressive, forward moving constitution, highly successful constitution, vibrant constitution, lively constitution, living document, so on and so forth. Then you have to study significant provisions in the Indian constitution, you have to study about basic structure within Indian constitution, all these things you have to study. Then within the main exam, for main exam you have to prepare functions and responsibilities of union as well as states. So you know very well that in India we have federal polity, and within this federal polity, right, within this federal polity we have to study about union, which is one power center, and different states where we have another power center. So functions of union, responsibilities of union within federal polity framework, functions and responsibility of states, and related with these you also have to study issues and challenges of federal polity. So you have to study about federal polity, and you have to study issues and challenges, and this is very dynamic in nature, issues and challenges, and you have to study about devolution of power and finance. So very important theme prescribed within the syllabus, functions and responsibilities of union and states, and federal polity, issues, challenges, devolution of power and finance. In addition to this, right, in addition to this, you have to study about parliament. Very explicit mention is there, parliament and state legislature, and within this you have to study from the point of view of structure, you have to study from the point of view of functioning, you have to study the parliament and the state legislature from the point of view of conduct of businesses. You have to study from the point of view of powers, so conduct of businesses. You have to study from the point of view of powers, you have to study from the point of view of privileges. You have to study from the point of view of privileges. Okay. So parliament and state legislature, how the budget is passed, how different bills are passed, what are the different categories of bills, what are different parliamentary committees, which are the two houses in the parliament, what is the structure of unicameral state legislature, what is the structure of bicameral state legislature, what is the difference in the legislative process in a unicameral state legislature and bicameral. All these things you have to study for main. Then you have to study the same for executive. Executive. Again, you have to study executive from organization perspective. You have to study from structure, and you have to study from functioning perspective. So, within Union Executive, you will have to study about President of India, you will have to study about Council of Ministers headed by Prime Minister at Union level, you will have to study about Vice President of India, you will have to study about Attorney General of India, and relationship between President and Prime Minister, relationship between President and Council of Ministers, and so on and so forth. Same goes for state executive. You have to study about, the governors in every state. You have to study about chief ministers in each state. You have to study about the relationship between governor and chief minister of a state. You have to study about state council of ministers. So, executive. Then both at union as well as at state level, we have executive, separate executive, and in separate executive we have political executive as well as permanent executive. So, civil servant constitutes the permanent executive. So, you have to study about executive within polity and constitution. Then you have to study about constitutional bodies, you have to study about statutory bodies, you will have to study about regulatory bodies, you have to study about quasi-judicial bodies. Now again, these are the words which are mentioned in the syllabus prescribed by UPSC for main examination. So, what you will have to do? Maybe 4-5 important constitutional body, maybe 7 to 10 important statutory bodies, maybe 8 to 10 important regulatory bodies, and maybe 5-7 other quasi-judicial bodies you must prepare in the name of polity, constitution, governance from main perspective. And these bodies you have to study either in polity or in other subjects as well. For example, when you are studying Indian economy, now at that time you will prepare about RBI, which is a very important regulatory body. Similarly, if you are, let us say, studying insurance sector, so you will study about the body which regulates the insurance sector. When you are studying about stock market, you will study about SEBI, so on and so forth. So, what I am just trying to say, in polity and constitution, constitutional bodies, so you have to prepare Election Commission of India, you have to prepare the Union Public Service Commission, you have to prepare Comptroller and Auditor General of India, you have to prepare, Supreme Court as an institution, and so on and so forth. Okay, so on and so forth. Quasi-judicial bodies, important one. Now, since all of you are aspiring to get into civil services, you have to prepare about CAT, Central Administrative Tribunal. You have to, prepare about Armed Forces Tribunal. You have to prepare about National Green Tribunal, and so on and so forth. So, what I would just like you all to have this awareness, that within the syllabus there is very explicit mention of constitutional bodies, statutory bodies, regulatory bodies, quasi-judicial bodies. Then you have to study about comparison of Indian Constitution, Indian Constitution with that of other countries. Other countries. Now, does it mean that you have to study the constitution of 190 other countries of the world? No. But you have to compare the provision within the Constitution of India with the constitution of those countries which influenced the Indian Constitution. For example, when founding fathers of Indian Constitution were in the process of drafting the Constitution of India, while being the member of the Constituent Assembly, they read the constitution of all important countries of the world, and whichever provisions they thought appropriate for Indian Constitution, they picked those provisions and incorporated those provisions in Indian Constitution. So you have to study, right? You have to study comparison of Indian Constitution with American Constitution, the German Constitution, the Irish Constitution, though the Constitution of Britain is not written, but British Constitution, the Australian Constitution, the Canadian Constitution, the Russian Constitution, the Japanese Constitution, but in a very, very limited way. Okay? Very, very limited way. For example, independence of judiciary, if we have taken getting inspired from American Constitution, now we need to see what are the provisions in the Constitution of America to protect the independence of judiciary, and how are the provisions in Indian Constitution. Like this you have to study rule of law, how it is in British Constitution and in what form it finds a mention in Indian Constitution. Okay. Federation with a strong center, how is it in Canada and to what extent it is in India. So what I am interested in telling you, that comparison very limited, but you have to do for the completion of, right, for the completion of the topic. Then you have to study about elections and particularly electoral laws, laws related with election, and within this the most important, which finds explicit mention, Representation of People's Act 1951, and you have to study in Representation of People's Act even 1950. Okay. So elections in India, there you will even study about methodology of election, you will study about Election Commission of India, you will study about controversies related with EVM, what can be the new generation electoral reforms to make our democracy really successful, and to keep this distinction with us that we are the largest democracy of the world, we are the vibrant democracy of the world, we are one of the most successful democracy of the world. So elections, and in election you have to study about electoral laws, and within electoral laws a special focus on Representation of People's Act. Then you have to study about local self-government, okay, Panchayati Raj institution, Panchayati Raj institutions in India, and devolution of power and finance up till panchayats. This is what is the demand of the syllabus that you must prepare. In addition to this, you have to study role of civil services, role of civil services in Indian democracy, role of civil services in democracy. This is what you have to cover in the name of governance. then you have to study governance, particularly within the governance, the facets and the features of good governance. Then e-governance, you have to study about transparency in particular. You have to study about accountability. You have to study about the wonderful concept of citizen charter. Citizen charter. Okay. So, you have to study, right? You have to study some very specific topics which are mentioned in the name of governance. What are the facets and features of good governance, corporate governance, e-governance, then how transparency is an important facet of good governance, how accountability is an important facet of good governance, and in that respect you have to study about citizen charter. Now, in addition to this, you will have to study about fundamental rights, directive principles of state policy, emergency provisions in Indian Constitution. Okay. So, what I am just trying to say that 90% aspirants, if they struggle in any particular module in general, and polity and constitution governance as a module in particular, their struggle is on account of their poor understanding of syllabus. So, before you study any module in GS, you must look into the syllabus prescribed by UPSC very seriously, meticulously, religiously, right? And you should try to decode the syllabus for yourself. You must navigate the syllabus, and you should always club syllabus, right, by looking into the previous year questions. This will actually help you develop that what not to study in the module. You will get the answer for this question only when you involve yourself in this exercise. But what I am just trying to tell you, that in the past 5-6 years, what we are seeing in the main paper of GS, we are seeing that in GS paper 2, where you have polity, constitution, governance along with international relations, in GS paper 2, you will find many questions which are asked with 50 to 60 words. Questions itself is almost a short paragraph is there. 2-3 sentences are there in the question. So, they are asking questions which are contextual in nature, and to set the context, they will write the first sentence, and only the second sentence in the question is actually the question. But for such questions, you have to write contextual answer. If you don't write contextual answer, you cannot expect good marks. And this is where majority of the students are struggling when they go to write main exam in polity and constitution, because this is the paper of GS in which at least there will be 7 to 10 questions where the question itself is in 50-60 words, 2-3 sentences are there. So, one good thing about polity and constitution, that while you are preparing, once you have understood the syllabus, while you are preparing civil service exam, right, and while you are preparing polity, constitution and governance, you have to prepare Number one is factual information on any topic, right? First you have to compile, collect facts. For example, you have to remember that part 5 of Indian Constitution is on union. You have to remember that provisions related with parliament finds mention, Article 79 to Article 122 of Indian Constitution. You have to remember the articles, you have to remember the name of important cases in which Supreme Court has pronounced historic judgments, year of judgment, name of case, key highlight of judgment. You have to remember articles, you have to remember schedules of Constitution. You have to remember how many political parties have, a status of national political parties, state level recognized political parties, like this. So, factual information, but second stage in the preparation is conceptual clarity. And this is very important, concept building. If you, while you are studying this subject, if you are focused on building concepts and bringing conceptual clarity while you study, it will help you retain facts in an effortless manner. Otherwise, you will have to put too much effort to remember facts. So, the second stage of your preparation is conceptual clarity, and third is analysis. So, every topic has forward backward linkages. How you are able to establish links, and based on that linkage, how you are able to reach to diverse and different conclusions, that is what falls within the ambit of analysis. It's about seeing a particular theme with different perspective to reach to different conclusions, and gradually you have to develop the ability to analyze. You have to acquire analytical skills to do well and score high in polity, constitution and governance. So, while you are studying, what you should remember, that 3-stage approach: factual information, conceptual clarity and analysis. Okay? And analysis. So, 3-stage, this is very, very important as far as your approach is concerned. Now, what I am just trying to say, that when you are studying this subject, polity, constitution, governance, right, it's not only important in prelim exam because 15 questions are asked. It's not only important, right, because in the paper 2 of GS main, you may expect 12 to 15 questions, which is worth 170 marks. But every year, one topic, normally in section B of essay paper, is on polity and constitution. The content you will get to write on that topic only because you studied polity, constitution and governance. I can give an example. In 2019 main exam, the topic which was unbiased media is a real threat to democracy. Now, if you choose the topic, this topic, to write an essay, now content for this you will get while you were preparing, while you studied polity, constitution and governance. So, this module is going to help you even in essay paper. Not only this, my friends, you need to remember that after clearing the main exam, when you will go for interview, which is considered mother of all battle in this scheme of exam, where UPSC board will enter into 30 minutes, approximately 30 minutes purposive conversation with you, and through that conversation they will evaluate your personality, they will judge your personality to see the suitability of yours for a career in civil service. Now, the 30 minutes purposive conversation which you are going to do with the UPSC interview board inside the boardroom, approximately 10-12 minute talk will be on the topic, theme, issues which falls within the ambit of polity, constitution, governance. And if you have understanding about the subject, you will be sounding very confident inside the boardroom. You will be able to do a very interesting conversation with the board. You will be able to establish to the UPSC board that there is a balance in your judgment, there is critical power of assimilation in you, you have pro-democracy, pro-system, pro-women, pro-poor, pro-minority, pro-system mindset, and many other things on the basis of which you can score high even in the personality test. So the importance of this module is also in interview. And this is why, we always say that someone who understands the preamble of Indian Constitution very well, knows the constitutional philosophy, and will go for interview, and when will sit before the UPSC board on any sensitive issue, the candidate will be doing a very meaningful conversation, and the candidate will be successful in creating a very different impression in the mind of UPSC board members. So this module is important even from interview point of view. And post-selection, the awareness, understanding, conceptual clarity about constitution, polity will help you grow and develop as an extraordinary civil servant. Someone who has understanding about governance, someone who has understanding about polity, after becoming an IS, after becoming an IPS, after becoming an IRS officer, right, you will be very different than your rest of colleagues and even sometimes seniors, only because you have good understanding of constitution, polity and governance. So this module is very, very important in the overall scheme. Only thing what I would just like you all to remember, that this module is highly dynamic in nature. Every day things which are happening, you need to keep your eyes and ears open, and you need to incorporate current and contemporary developments while giving examples in your answer. And sometimes the question itself will be completely based on some current and contemporary development. If Supreme Court is giving judgment which is historic in nature, you need to look into the judgment. If a bill was introduced in the parliament and that created some debate in the public domain, then you need to keep an eye over that development. If some new office has been created, then you need to learn everything about it. And so on and so forth. If some constitutional office is in news for good or bad reasons, you need to keep an eye over that story or development. So the topic is highly dynamic in nature. What you see around you is what you have to study in this module. So you will find the module interesting in nature, and you need to take genuine interest, because if with interest you will study, then you will get fully involved in what you are studying at that particular point of time. Now, I would suggest that when you are thinking of preparing polity, constitution and governance as a module for creation of rock solid foundation, even before you start, right, officially, I would suggest that you must read some of the NCERT books, and this 9th and 10th NCERT book and 9th NCERT book, Democratic Politics, Democratic Politics, this is part 1, right? Then Democratic Politics again, part 2 of 10th class, and both these new edition is what I would recommend. And when you are reading, right, fun learning, enjoy reading, without asking question to what extent this book is going to help me, right? Reading this book is going to help me for prelims or main exam. It will just, lay the foundation which is needed in polity, constitution. But the most important NCERT is Indian Constitution at Work, 11th class NCERT, Indian Constitution at Work, and again I would recommend new edition of it, and this is must read, and you should read this book once, and then you must revise this NCERT book of 11th class. This 11th class NCERT book, Indian Constitution at Work, in practical term will create a rock solid foundation for polity, constitution and governance. And then if you will pick any other standard book, you will enjoy studying that book, reading that particular book. Otherwise, you may feel burden. So before you pick any standard book to read in polity, constitution and governance, you all must read Indian Constitution at Work, not once but twice. And while you are reading second time, your focus should be the speed. You must maintain high speed. In addition to the 3 NCERT books, right, I would suggest that you should also read Contemporary World Politics, Contemporary, though it's not that important for polity, but it will help you in world history as well. Contemporary World Politics, Contemporary World Politics. This is again 12th class NCERT book, 12th class NCERT book, and again I would recommend the new edition only. Okay. Then you can also read 12th class NCERT books, 12th class NCERT book, that is Politics in India Since Independence. In India since independence. After you have completed these NCERT books, and again this is new edition, 12th class Politics in India Since Independence. After you have completed, you can think in terms of, picking or choosing some standard book to read. And if you are thinking of reading some standard book, then from my side, the recommendation will be Constitution of India by D.D. Bosu, number 1. Number 2, right, Indian Polity by Lakshmikant. And number 3, right, number 3, Indian Constitution, okay, by Subhash Kashyap. The choice is yours. You may pick any one out of the 3 books which I prescribed. Okay, maybe D.D. Bosu, maybe Polity and Constitution by Lakshmikant, and maybe the series of book Our Constitution, Our Parliament by Subhash Kashyap. Okay, Subhash Kashyap. But I would just like you all that while you are studying Polity and Constitution, any standard book you pick, then there is no need for you to read the book from first chapter to last chapter, from page 1 to the last page. No. You need to map the syllabus in that standard book, and topic wise you need to read. So if it is written in the syllabus that Parliament and state legislature, functions, structure, processes, privileges, now you need to read that what is the structure of Indian Parliament, where this content finds mention in this standard book. I am going to read that. Okay? Where is the provisions related with processes which are to be followed for passage of bills through the 2 houses of Parliament. Now that is what you should read. So rather than reading the whole book, the entire book, I would always recommend that you read the chapters, within the chapter, the topics which finds explicit mention in syllabus. And you read those topics and chapters again and again, maybe 2-3 times. First round you should read. Second time you must revise. So that is very, very important. One thumb rule, that in civil service preparation, you should never read anything which you cannot revise later. Revision is must, and you need to stick to this rule since beginning till end during the preparation. So what I am just trying to say, after you have completed NCERT books, then what you need to do? You need to pick one standard book which can be either D.D. Bosu, which can be either a book by D.D. Bosu, which can be the book by Dr. Lakshmikant, which can be the book by great author Subhash Kashyap. But whichever book you choose, rather than reading the entire book, you should read chapters which overlaps with what finds explicit mention in our syllabus, and you should revise again and again what you have studied in these standard book, whichever book you are going to choose. The choice is yours. I can only I can comment, right, that the language of D.D. Bosu is what some students may find difficult, but that is the language in which if you write answer in the main exam, you will score high. And the best thing about the book of Subhash Kashyap and the book by Dr. Lakshmikant, the language is simple. Anybody who will read can understand most of the provisions because of the simplicity of language and expression. Okay, so that is, choice is yours. Okay, but this is while you are reading polity and constitution, particularly constitution, you must have our Constitution of India, Bare Act by PM Bakshi. But it's not the study material, it's the reference material. Let us suppose that you are studying about the President of India, and in the textbook it's written that all executive powers of union is vested in the hands of President, and President has been given the option to exercise these powers either on his own or through any officer subordinate to him. Now immediately what you should do? Immediately you should open PM Bakshi, you should reach to Article 53 and you should try to see what exactly is written in the Constitution of India in Article 53. So it's going to be the reference material for you, but not the study material. You don't have to read the entire book by PM Bakshi, Constitution of India, Bare Act, but you have to refer. While studying polity, you have to refer. As and when in the textbook you are finding mention of any specific article, you should see what exactly is written in the article, and below the article some explanation, some judgments of Supreme Court is also given, right, in this Constitution of India by PM Bakshi. So this is again a reference material. But once you have done these things, what holds the importance as far as you able to score high in the main exam, you able to develop opinion on all sensitive issues related with constitution and polity, that how well you are keeping yourself updated and informed about current and contemporary development by reading newspapers, the editorials, the articles which are coming in the newspapers, and the articles which are published in Yojana magazine. So very, very important for polity, constitution, governance, particularly for governance, you all must subscribe Yojana magazine, and from each issue you should read at least 5-6 articles. Sometime the Yojana magazine will be especially focused on some theme related with governance or administration. And every day when you are reading newspaper, right, while you are reading editorials or articles from the newspaper, at least one day in a week you should choose article or editorial which overlaps with topics which are mentioned in polity, constitution and governance. So how well you are keeping yourself updated and informed about polity and constitution, which is current and contemporary in nature, that will also help you to score high in the main exam and sometime to solve questions in the prelims. So very interesting subject, highly dynamic subject, and if you study the subject with scientific temperament, then you will find it very, very interesting. And this is what should be your approach when you are preparing polity, constitution, governance. I would like to tell you that in GS Strategist online course which we are going to offer, you will find almost 100-hour content on polity, constitution, governance. And the content is not only meticulously designed and developed, but our teachers will conduct thought-provoking session, will ensure that throughout the discussion you remain fully engaged with the topic being discussed in the class, and after the completion of the class you are confident making an attempt to write any twisted question on that particular topic, or even a difficult MCQ is what you can solve on that particular topic. So, this is all about polity, constitution, governance and social justice as a module in the scheme of civil service examination.